It's Monday! Happy Monday! Well, except not really happy. Mondays kind of suck. Which is funny because I was just listening to the song I Hate Mondays, which is actually about someone who shot a bunch of people on a Monday! Woo! So last week I didn't make a video because I was really tired. Because I went to the California State Thespian Festival and we got back at like 1 o'clock that morning. And then I was a stupid person and I went to school and I got home and I was just like... So I didn't make a video. I'm sorry. Tear. But I am this week, as you can see. And this is actually something that Garden of Arrows just tweeted about 10-15 minutes ago-ish. That President Obama has decided he's going to lift some of the travel bans and, you know, like information bans from the United States to Cuba, which is cool. Basically, what the article says is, United States President Barack Obama has lifted some of the restrictions that will allow Cuban Americans to travel more freely to Cuba. Cuban Americans will also be allowed to send more money to relatives in Cuba. The move, announced by White House spokesman Robert Gibbs, comes after Obama last month signed a bill easing some economic sanctions on Cuba. Mr. Gibbs said the aim was to promote democracy and human rights on the Caribbean island. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think this is really cool that we're kind of finally trying to fix this kind of, like, travel embargo and information embargo and all this other crap that goes on in Cuba between the United States. Like, I think it's cool. Like, it needs to be fixed. But especially with the human rights thing, I really think the country as a whole needs to focus on fixing America first, because we're kind of fucked up in that category. It's just a pinch, you know. Back to Cuba. The changes fulfilled a pledge made by Mr. Obama during his presidential campaign and would help bridge the gap between divided Cuban families, which that I think is the best part of this situation, that it was a pledge he made, you know, during his campaign when he was trying to get elected, but he's actually fulfilling it, which I think says good things about whether or not he's going to fulfill other pledges he made while he was campaigning. The U.S. had imposed a commercial blockade on Cuba since the communist revolution that brought Fidel Castro to power in 1959. So it's been pretty much exactly 50 years since we imposed all these bans, and someone is finally trying to fix it, which is nice. And restrictions would also be lifted on U.S. telecommunications companies applying for licenses to operate in Cuba. That move could open the way for a greater flow of information onto the island via the internet. Although much will depend on the attitude of the Cuban government itself. Which, I think it's good that there's a possibility Cuba might have more access to outside communication, because their government, information-wise, is kind of, like, China's was during, like, the 80s with the whole, like, Tiananmen Square massacre, and how their government kind of still is with being really sheltered about what's going on in the country getting out, and, you know, anything from outside that could give an actual spectrum of what's happening either in China and why it's bad, or what's happening other places that is better. And it's kind of just that really sheltered sort of government. So, I think overall it's a good thing this is happening. And, you know, I'm not, like, the world's most patriotic, like, oh my god, I love America. America is the best country in the world sort of person. I like the idea of America, and I think if we could actually accomplish the ideals in the Constitution, that America would be awesome. Except we don't, and I think we kind of need to focus on trying to fix that, and making ourselves all we say we are before we try and fix others' problems. It's kind of like saying, oh, this is wrong with this person, and this is wrong with that person, and I'm going to try and fix this and that, when you have just as many, if not more, problems yourself. But other than the fact that I kind of think we need to try and focus and fix America before we can try and even attempt to help other people, especially with our economic situation, just kind of going, doing that. I think it's cool. I think it's awesome. I think it's good that President Obama is taking that kind of step